Welcome to the cima revision program, November 2011. The subject, Enterprise Management. I am Gajendra Lianarachi. Enterprise Management is a strategic subject. It requires the integration of overall knowledge regarding an organization. The syllabus has three main areas: strategic management, which is 30%, project management 40%, and management of relationships 30%. However, when you're studying or when you're doing the exam, you need to really understand the bigger picture regarding the syllabus. Neither of these areas will be tested in isolation, because in the exam, you're required to tackle a scenario of a given organization. I repeat, you will be given a scenario of a particular organization. So whether you study or not, whether your knowledge is effective or not, whether you're brilliant or not, you have to pay attention to the given scenario. It looks simple. You have to understand the scenario, understand the nature of the organization, and develop a strategy for a given organization. You will realize from your studies, no two organizations are the same. Absolutely not. No two organizations are the same. Therefore, no two organizations will have the same strategy. For example, take these quality research companies like Rolex and Patek Philippe. Both are Swiss, both has a heritage of more than 200 years, but fundamentally they are different. Why are they different? Rolex is a performance-driven research, which is targeting professionals like Roger Federer, but Patek Philippe targets no professional. It's about tradition. It's about values. It's about quietness. It's about speaking to your own self only, no expression. You see, so if you're analyzing a scenario of a Rolex and a Patek Philippe, your mindset has to be different. Similarly, if you take cars like BMW and Mercedes-Benz, both are German, both are luxury cars, both have a tremendous track record in terms of success and consumer awareness, but they're drastically different. Just look at the market. If you're given a scenario on a Mercedes-Benz company, you see the buyers are different. Who will be a Mercedes buyer? If somebody asks you a question, who is a customer of a Mercedes? Complicated. Variety of cars from C class to S class to A class. Could be anybody. Could be a professional, could be a film star, could be a businessman with knowledge, could be a general businessman with generic development. But contrast, if you look at a BMW, who is a buyer? Very clear idea. Who is a BMW buyer? A professional. A professional. Nothing to do with any other thing. So their focus is clear. So the scenario, the activities of the companies are dramatically different. Besides, you see a person driving a BMW, but most of the time you might see the owner at the back seat of a Mercedes-Benz. So why these examples are relevant? Because you have to be clear in your mind when you go to the exam, whether you have studied or not, you have to pay attention to the given scenario. You need to read the scenario and understand the nature of the organization and the strategy, which is the most important thing. If you listen to this program, you will realize how simple it is, but you have to develop that additional skill once you read a given scenario to pick the situation quickly and understand the strategy of the organization and identify any problems with the strategy of a particular organization and develop a practical solution. I mean, you can't give a solution which you give for BMW to Audi or Mercedes or in fact Ferrari. Dramatically different, but all are prestigious car brand. So this is the subject. This is a wonderful subject which requires an additional thinking beyond the classroom. You have to be trained to be imaginative to understand a given scenario, and that's enterprise management. The main topic is strategy. Strategy. In general terms, strategy means the way you do things in order to achieve an objective. A course of action carried out in order to achieve a predetermined objective. Strategy is in the marketplace. Everybody has a strategy. I have a strategy, you have a strategy. So, but what is strategy in a context we need to understand. So strategy in the examination would be based on an organization. What exactly is their strategy? So in general, when we practice strategy, the most important thing is the mission statement. Mission will clearly demonstrate what business are you in. I repeat, mission demonstrate what business are you in. What business are you in? So you need to understand in the exam what business are you in terms of the given scenario. When you are doing cima, you need to have a clear idea about what business you are in. cima actually over the years did most of the correct things as a qualification. They shifted from traditional double entry bookkeeping, traditional accounting to a business qualification. So cima trains people to take decisions. I'm a decision maker, you're a decision maker. So cima defined the business in a broader scale beyond traditional accounting to strategic decision making. So why do you do cima in the first place? What business are you in? What's the purpose of being qualified? I have only two answers for that. Number one, either to become a CEO or to start your own business. I repeat, either to become a CEO or to start your own business. But if you start your own business, automatically you're the CEO, you're the own boss. Why do we say that? Because we need to define what business are you in. If we say cima is an accounting body or you are an accountant, then everybody who prepares accounts becomes accountant. If a simple person in a small restaurant does some accounts, he is also an accountant. So that's a very narrow definition of a mission. I repeat, very narrow definition of a mission. What is the mission? Mission demonstrates what business are you in. So what qualification are you in? So you're going to be a decision maker. Similarly, any organization has to identify what their mission statement is. Most of the organization fail to understand what business they are in. What business they are in. So either they have a very narrow mission statement or a broader one. Both are dangerous. So remember in the exam to look at a given scenario of a company and identify what the mission is. Is it too broad? Is it too narrow? Or is it appropriate? Is it appropriate? You can answer that. For example, if you look at the cinema industry in United States, they were in trouble some time back in the 60s and 70s. They were worried about the TV because they thought the TV might take away their crowd. But luckily, they defined their business model as entertainment, not as cinema. I repeat, the US cinema industry, Hollywood, defined their business model. What business are you in? As entertainment, not as cinema. So entertainment gives a bigger picture. So they looked at television as an entry point. They looked at television as an opportunity to give the viewers inside information regarding a film. There's a lot of talk about the Sri Lankan cinema industry as well, whether it's declining or moving forward. But certainly when we compare the Indian industry and the American, I'm sure we are not there yet. The main reason is not defining the business properly. What business are you in? If you define cinema industry as showing films, then you're gone. You're dead and buried, definitely. Why? A film meaning you can get a DVD, you can watch it on your laptop, or you can watch it on a mobile phone now. So the same purpose is delivered through a different media. So that's a very narrow mission for a cinema industry. So how can you define that? You need to clearly understand the bigger picture. For example, look at Majestic City in Sri Lanka. Do you see crowd there always? Of course. Do you see the crowd? Yes. Are there film halls packed? Yes. Their films are always successful irrespective of whether it's a box office or not. But if you look at a traditional film hall only concept, then you need to get a real blockbuster to get the crowd in. Why is that? Because they have a very narrow view. So you have to think, you have to make a specific idea to go to that particular film hall to watch that particular film, which is very narrow. Majestic City will always survive because their business model is entertainment. You don't need a real reason to go there because there's plenty. So that's why you need to clearly define the mission statement in an appropriate manner. I told earlier, cima did it. Take a general definition of a graduate in any country, a university student. When you say graduate, it's obviously too broad. It can be an arts graduate, science graduate, maths graduate, commerce graduate, anybody. But then, if you say graduate, it's complicated. Let me show you how to define and give a proper definition to a university graduate. you say like this. You narrow it slightly and say employable graduate. Employable graduate. So I just added a word to the graduate. And then what happens? It looks appropriate. That means you're creating a person to fit into a given organization. That means then the degree program should have new subjects and syllabus areas such as attitude, interpersonal skills, business English, and how to respect other people and how to work under people in an organization. So I repeat, mission is the most important thing. You have to define what business you are in. Very, very important. It should not be too broad or too narrow. Why is Nokia doing very well? Still surviving. Brilliant, isn't it? Their focus is clear. Why is Samsung? Okay, Samsung is doing well, but not Nokia. Because Samsung's definition, their mission is too broad. Their mission is a better world is our business. Their mission is a better world is our business. Look at this mission statement. It's too broad. Nokia is focused. Focused. They connect people through technology. That's why they sell more mobile phones than Samsung. But you need to really understand what business you are in. So in the exam, you need to really read the scenario and visualize what business you are in. Steve Jobs, a remarkable personality, passed away on the 5th of October this year. What did he create? He created Apple. One of the best, and now when he died, it was the largest company in terms of market capitalization. What was his mission? Very simple. The word itself, Apple. How did he get Apple and why did he select Apple? Simple. He took it from the story of Sir Isaac Newton, who were under the apple tree when the apple fell, and he thought the gravity, the theory was invented. So the fundamental basis for the entire Apple organization is innovation. Free thinking, creativity. That's why the concept Apple comes in. Their initial logo even had Isaac Newton and the tree and the old story. And still they survive, even after the death of Steve Jobs. In October 29th this year, they acquired C3 Technology, a mapping company, 3 weeks after the death of Steve Jobs, pioneering on their basis what business are they in for $240 million. So this is the starting point for any organization or any individual. You need to clearly understand what business are you in. Once you know that, then you have a bigger picture about the organization. Then we can look at how to develop strategy. But first, you need to define your mission and place it in a statement. And you need to be very careful. It's not too broad or too narrow. As a student, you need to look at it in an objective perspective. You know you're doing cima and you're going to be successful in life. So that is the beginning point of the mission statement. Once you're clear with what business are you in, then our next step is developing strategy. Strategy is a wonderful word, remarkable. Nobody really knows how a person practices strategy, but we all talk about it. So let's see how a particular person is going to apply strategic knowledge on an exam context. We will discuss about strategy after a break.